Hello, for anyone who might be out there. Um, I'm cooking tacos, and right now I'm cooking bacon. So I cook the bacon first, then I'm probably going to cook the potatoes, and then I'm going to cook the eggs. I've got some chorizo and other things I'm going to make, but the pickiest eater in the house doesn't want all that, so I'm going to do the bacon first and film it, and hopefully you enjoy this. I also have a new microphone that I'm kind of playing with the distance on. I don't know what all I can do with it yet. It's got the threads on the back for a microphone stand. I don't have one of those. So I've got it on top of the fridge and I'm trying to see if that works or not. So if y'all could let me know, that'd be awesome if you could hear me. Hello, Ghost Shadow. How are you doing? Try not to have anything up too high here. We're going to end up with a lot of bacon grease. And let me move this thing over where I can mute it real quick. But anyways, we're going to end up with a lot of. It might be my camera. I'm not sure. Is that any better? That and there's like steam, smoke, what have you, coming off of the thing here. So that is what it is. These don't need much longer. In fact, they're just about done. Kitten nose prints. Okay, okay. I got you. But I'm cooking the bacon first. I get a lot of grease. I may end up adding some lard or something to it. I don't know if I have bacon grease still up here. I had a whole thing. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna use that up. Add bacon grease to my bacon grease and go from there. But it's gonna be a minute since I'm cooking live. If you're out there, let me know. That'd be awesome. Um, See Ghost Shadows out there. And um, that's just about done. I'm also on Rumble, so if you're watching on Rumble, thank you. There's always that one piece. The first ones I'm doing here are um, oh, I should share. Cool. First ones are bacon, egg, and potato. No, I think it's going to be just a little bit longer. Oh, he's done. Okay, you don't want to do that. At least I didn't get splashed with grease. But what can you do? It's live. So that is what it is. Actually, Teflon won't hurt. It's a cast iron skillet. You don't have Teflon. I'm live, so that means my wife starts screaming. So hold on one second. Let me see what she wants. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if any of you have a significant other that likes to holler from the other room, but I do. And if you have, there we go. If you have paper bags, like from your grocery store, if they still have paper bags, those are awesome for draining any of those potatoes, bacon, any of it. But if you don't, paper towels work. Chris from the 740, hello. Vanessa Kitty, hello. I don't see bacon out there. I'm cooking bacon. I end up with a little bit too much grease, but I'm going to use it. Do not have a whole lot of room in my kitchen. Just kind of what it is. If you're wondering what kind of bacon this is, Chapel Hill. Ooh. Mac and cheese in the smoke are awesome. Super bad videos. How am I doing? I'm getting there. That's how I'm doing. Legs doing better. It's closing. And my shoulder's getting better. I'm sitting in a chair trying to cook. But yeah, I'm getting there. Main thing with bacon, you don't really I should make English muffins. Vanessa Kitty, am I healing good? Not exactly. I'm healing slow, and that's a problem. I probably need to start making some better food. But that's expensive, and things are hard to get right now. Well, it's not real hard, but I have very limited time. Kind of is what it is. So how's this microphone sounding? I put it on top of my refrigerator. So, because they were saying it was, what was it? Clipping or whatever earlier. So I thought maybe a little bit more distance would help. Yeah, yeah, Vanessa. Some things take a while. Um, I think my shoulder is going to take longer to heal than my leg. I mean, my leg feels like a space boot, you know? Like you got something from the 1970s space era on your leg. But I can walk around and it's healing and it's good, as far as that goes. It's starting to close over. But my shoulder I think that's going to take longer to heal than my leg. But it just is. Just some crackling noises. There's also the bacon that's kind of crackling. Just a bit. It does that. Might be getting a little bit too much grease in here. Might have to pour a little of it out. We shall see. Oh God, I don't want it to take years. Kind of needing things back fairly as quick as possible. I went to the chiropractor today and he worked on my arm a little bit and he got it to pop and that hurt at the time, but I think I can move my arm better now. So I don't want it too stiff and calcified and all that kind of stuff. Oh God, that's a good party trick. Super bad videos. If you can do that on cue, feel like what was Lethal Weapon? I think that was the second one or something, where he was trying to get out of a straitjacket and he pops his shoulder out of place and then he pops it back in. I had a friend in high school that his shoulder was always popping out playing football, so he'd get people to grab his arm and pull it back in place during the game. He had some kind of brace or something that he wore. Oh, I got a few viewers. Didn't know if everyone was tired of watching YouTube because one person do a 24-hour chat and another person's in a chat. And I was trying to check my microphone. So I think a lot of people have been on YouTube all day that tend to watch my videos. Ouch. Yeah, shoulders need to stay in place. And I need to preferably not hit any more trees. I don't have a lot of bacon left. I may just make do here. So I don't do anything else dirty. I'm not talking real loud, so hopefully it's picking up my voice okay. I'm kind of working with that. So I cook something a little bit more complicated. I like to be able to have a place I can leave that microphone and it still pick up my voice from the stove or if I'm on the counter, which is basically just turn around facing the other direction. Oh, rolling an ATV. Ouch. I did more than roll. I hit a tree and then got thrown. It's like I should have went around one side of the tree, but the handlebars grabbed my legs and they threw me around the other side of the tree. And I do not remember ragdolling through the median, but apparently that was a thing. And I didn't even feel where my leg got ripped open because I thought both of my femurs were broken. Try not to burn the bacon live. So, everyone who showed up, thank you. I need the views. I haven't been putting out that many videos. But going back to work's crazy and trying to get rest and going to see doctors and all that good stuff. The fireworks haven't been too crazy tonight. They will be tomorrow, though. I've got a Mastiff and, big 100 and something pound dog. And, I mean, he's not too big. He's kind of a little smaller. And for a Mastiff, he's a Dane Boxer mix. So he's on the small end for a Dane and large for a Boxer. Bigger than a Boxer would be. But he gets terrified of fireworks. I might order some of those things that Brooke was talking about yesterday on her chat. They're like these earplugs for the dogs to help them out. And if I can get him to, he's kind of getting too old. I might try him though. He's at the age where you can't trim his nails really anymore. Because before he just about had to be put under, he doesn't like anyone messing with his feet. I don't either. So I kind of agree with him there. But now he's too old and the vet won't give him any medication that might put him under because it's too risky. So I try to make sure he walks enough and scratches enough that it keeps his nails kind of wore down as much as possible. But anyways, he gets very afraid of fireworks. And if you wonder what I'm drinking, It is Texas. And it's a Pilsner beer. You know the history of Pilsner. There's a place, Pilsner in the Czech Republic. That's where it was made, invented. And I have better beer up there. I'm just not drinking it at the moment. This is like good gas station beer. Yeah, he was getting tired. Don't know how he'd like being a truck driver. Because a lot of the times we're up 10 or 12 hours and, getting stuff done, getting a truck repaired, whatever. And then we've got to go. And, you start a 14-hour shift and that, everything happens. And splitting your log, whatever, 14 turns into like 16 hours. And you end up being up for like, anywhere from 24 to 30 hours and then crash. And that's kind of normal. Sleep deprivation is sort of a job requirement. That one is done. One of these days I'll get my stove level. That would help too. And my dog's in the kitchen. He smells bacon. Don't worry, you're gonna get some. He likes it when I cook any kind of meat. He knows he's gonna get some, and he also knows he's probably gonna get the grease poured over his food. So you want to do trucking, but not cross country. The problem with that is to get a lot of the local jobs that are good, you kind of have to do your time and go out for a few years and get your experience over the road and then come back in. That just kind of is. And most of the companies you would start off with are all going to do the same thing to you. They're all going to kind of screw you. You're not going to make a whole lot of money. And people will go from one company to the other. And they're going to find a better deal. And really within your first 2-3 years, you're not going to find anything much better than wherever you're at, which is probably a training school company. Like Swift or Stevens or CR England or CRST. I would stay away from CRST for multiple reasons. That they do this weird thing where they'll have 3 drivers on a truck and they cycle them out. Or one driver's at home and the other 2 are on the truck. I do not like that. But I haven't heard a lot of good from their drivers. But truck drivers are pretty much full of crap. Yeah, some dogs are afraid of different things. I had a full blood Irish setter, solid red. She was a wonderful dog. She got stolen by breeders, and when we found her, she just wasn't the same dog. But her mouth was so soft. She would bring back like baby dove and quail in her mouth and would never hurt them. But she was terrified of gunshots. It's like the best bird dog in the world, but she was terrified of gunshots. So that was that. We took her from someone who wasn't really too nice to her, and she also did not like anyone with a cowboy hat. And my stepfather tended to wear cowboy hats at the time, so he had to take his cowboy hat off, or she would attack him. Dogs remember. Yeah, those roundabouts. They actually make that center part where you can drag your trailer over if need be. Just don't hit it too hard. Because there's just no way you're going to go through there without dragging it over. And you just kind of let it roll up easy. And they got the part over it where you can drag your trailer and keep going. But roundabouts are a pain in the ass. I do not like roundabouts. Oh, that's a lot of bacon. I haven't cooked bacon in a while. So, Labradoodle. I like Labradoodle. I like all dogs though. We've got a dog and two cats. My son has a dog, but he took the dog with him. And I think that one's, what do you call it? Parsons Terrier. It's related to the Jack Russell. And his cat wasn't doing good where he lives, so the cat came back. So we have two cats. But no, I hate roundabouts. Whoever designed those things should be shot because no one knows how to use them. Oh yeah, I don't like those stoplights. It's like you need to get moving and it wants to stop you. And then you gotta start up again. Yeah, if you got a lot of weight, that's a pain in the ass. And no one wants to let you on. It's like I've got 7 blinking lights on each side of the trailer. And I don't know, I think they think if whatever lights are flashing on the trailer, you're supposed to pass on that side. I don't know. But that's what they tend to do. You turn your blinker on, it's. And that's my wife. They tend to pass. I don't know if I heard her. But they tend to pass on whatever side you're trying to get over. So if you wonder why somebody just kind of takes the lane real quick and doesn't use a blinker, probably why. But it's kind of worse down here in Texas. You know, people talk about New York, New Jersey, that area. But I think they have those drivers trained because for so many years they'd give them 3 blinks, and if you weren't over, they just kind of went over. You're up in New York and you give them 3 blinks and they're out of your way. Where down here in Texas, they do not care. Everyone is in just way too much of a hurry. Oh God. I had a lady call in on me one time, and I think it was Tennessee, and I'm pulling uphill. I've got no place to go. There's another truck beside me, and I've got everything all wound out. And there's like a mile and a half in the route that she could have merged in at any point. And she wanted to get right beside me, thinking I'm supposed to move over for her. Well, I'm not letting out of it, especially not with a heavy load. I'm not even doing the speed limit. I'm dropping gears. I'm trying to pull a hill. And she's like, I'm trying to run her off the road. I'm like, no, you need to accelerate in that little car of yours and go around. Yeah, ting ting. That's a good way to get ran over. It's like stopping on a yellow light. Which I knew a girl at one time that she couldn't figure out why her insurance kept going up. And she's like, she hasn't had any at fault accidents, but she's been rear ended 3 times in like X amount of months. It's like, well, you're doing something wrong to get rear ended that many times. Um,
Do something to the washing machine.
okay. Checking my bacon. Which is just about done. Okay, she's complaining about the dishwasher beeping. I don't know why it's beeping. I think I have it turned off now. I don't know. Something just happened. I pull out of Fresno. I pull out of everywhere in California. I have pickups from Salinas all the way to Yuma, Arizona, Oxnard, Garden City. Um, they tell you it was Long Beach, but it'd be Compton. I used to like going up like to the wine country when you get those lids back of like wine bottles coming out of Mexico, because it didn't matter how hot it was at night; it was so cool. You know, you didn't even have to have your AC running or anything like that. The temperature was just perfect. I think these are done. One more. The stove's clean, but it's old. Got two burners that work, one that kind of works and one that don't. Oh yeah, people ride their brakes. They don't know how to go through mountains. And I try to keep my truck at a speed where I don't have to touch my brakes. It's at a speed where the Jake brake can hold it, because I want my brakes nice and cool. And they'll try to go fast and they're stabbing their brakes, but I guess they don't really know how to do it right because they get their brakes too hot. And I just, over the years, had too many things happen in front of me that I like keeping my brakes nice and cool. That way, if it does happen, I can stop and keep from running over anyone. So I do not want to run over anyone. They got some grades onto the. I mean, I can show you grades here that they don't even mark correctly because I don't think they're supposed to be on an interstate. I can show you grades in Texas that you wouldn't think were in Texas. One of them, it's like you're coming out of Roswell and you're going down. I can't remember the road. I want to say 385. It's not 385 though. But it kind of zigzags and you come out near Van Horn between there and El Paso. And there's this mountain you get out. It's got the creepiest rest area ever. Like you go in the restroom and you expect to see that little wheelchair dude from Saw come through, the door open and say, "Let's play a game." But you'll be standing on your firewall going down this hill. And it's like, you don't expect to see that in Texas at all. But it's there. I spent 40 minutes frying bacon. Yes, this is home cooked. I mean, it may not be good for your health, but it does affect your health. So, therefore, it's healthy. It's all in the marketing. Oh, I've seen a lot of people doing that. They'll have brakes locked up. They used to have that valve in the middle of the trailers. I'm not going to say what they used to call that. But I saw a guy going across the Mississippi. And let's say that was Memphis. And right in the middle of the bridge, his brakes locked up. And it dawned on him what happened because all the air had bled out. So actually hot back there, you open the valve. But then, especially in the wintertime, you have drivers that I guess don't know not to set hot brakes, which do not do that because of condensation, and your brake pads will freeze to your drums. And I guess some drivers don't realize they're dragging their trailer. They don't wiggle a little bit to make sure that their wheels are turning. And they go off down the freeway and they're dragging their trailer. It's probably easier to do on an empty trailer than a loaded one, depending on how much weight you have in there. Um, Kind of between crispy and soft. I don't like it too soft, underdone. I don't like it too crispy, like hurt your teeth, hurt your gums. But just kind of gets a nice little snap to it. Yeah, I would cook them in the oven, but I just put the door back on, and I usually don't cook them in the oven. DJ Play Nice, thank you for watching. Thank you. Have a wonderful 4th of July. And I had my guitar out earlier, or one of my guitars, until my wife told me to shut up with the guitar. It's one of them things, it's like what people love about you when you get together and that ends up annoying them, I guess because they've heard it too much. She used to didn't mind when I came home and, whether she's beating the hell out of an acoustic or, plugging in, got a Marshall and just make the walls breathe, and that didn't bother her. And now it does. So, I think that's pretty much anyone. Oh. I'm about to use this grease, so. You wonder where I'm putting it. All going in there. I don't have any brown paper bags. I'll be using one of them for the grease. My grandmother used to do that, and that just works out perfect. And these are the last pieces of bacon. Hopefully I don't burn them. Well, I'm going to add some grease to it here in a minute. And we're going to fry up some potatoes. And when they're done, I'm going to pour the grease out, for the most part, into another pot I got over here. So I'm going to reuse it. And then we'll get the eggs going and start mixing some things back together. Well, you can kind of do it both ways. You can start, scrambling your eggs, and you can put your potatoes, and works better with sausage, stuff like that. And you just kind of cook it all together, and it's just already together. Or depending on how you like them, or whoever's eating likes them, you can cook it all separate, and then they can put it all together. But in the end, you're going to want this pan cleaned out, because then you got to heat up your tortillas. I'm not making tortillas. I bought them. Flour, salt, and water, but it's kind of long enough process as it is. And that little thing actually does help when you get more grease in there. Well, it helps flatten them out if that's what you want, but then you get a whole bunch of grease in there, it pushes them down. I've already got potatoes cut up. I've got some onion that I'm going to cook with them. See if I can pull this out. Without moving my camera too much. Need new cabinets, need all kinds of stuff. We just put a roof on the house. My son's supposed to paint it for me. That sounds like a good cake. Chocolate covered bacon. Sounds like something from a fair down here as long as it's fried. I don't see me on a ladder or anything like that anytime soon, so my youngest son is supposed to go through and paint all the, what do you call them? All the stuff where the roof hangs over and the sides, and he wants to pressure wash it all first. That's awesome. Honestly, I think it's awesome when you can get a 19-year-old to do anything. So we have watched bacon fry for 48 minutes. See, now you got me thinking of how to do that. Chocolate covered bacon. Something that sounds weird that Denny's had for a while was maple bacon sundae. And it sounds really weird. Like, it's like, oh no, you don't want that. But if you ever try it, I don't know if you can still get it. They had it like on the menu, but not on the menu for a while. So I guess not enough people were buying it. But my son got it, and I tried it, and it was actually pretty good. I don't know if any of you have ever tried that before, but it was pretty good. That's like just a little bit too much grease to fry eggs. I mean, it would work, but that's how you get your eggs right. Fry your bacon first. And now you got your bacon grease, and you fry your eggs in it. I don't know if anyone else does that. Oh, cool, you made another. When I was little, I wasn't supposed to have any form of sugar. And my mom made me a sugar-free birthday cake. And this was back when they were still doing sonic booms, you know? And there was a sonic boom. And it flattened the cake. So then my mom filled the whole thing up with frosting, and these other mothers were like, why does my kid have to have a sugar-free cake and all of that? And it's like, it's my birthday, so shut up. And everyone loved the cake. Of course, it was quite a bit of frosting, and I think all kids love frosting. And yes, I'm doing this all in one pan. Less of a mess, and the rest of them are in the dishwasher. And no, the others aren't cast iron. I wish I had more cast iron. Putting a cast iron skillet in the dishwasher is like grounds for divorce. That's got to be a law in the book somewhere. More beer. Here's a good one. If you've never had that before. That's a Pilsner Urquell. If you read right there. Brewed in Pilsen, Czech Republic. This one's going in the fridge. Okay. More bacon grease. I have problems with all electronic devices. I'm just enough too old. Come of age in an analog world that went digital. I'm a Gen Xer. My mom was a hippie that went country. I don't know if any of y'all can remember that. It's like the hippies went country. Remember, she worked at a bar when I was little, and she would pick me up from school or from daycare. We'd go by, and I'd help her stock all the ice up. And then she'd take me home. My grandmother would watch me, and She'd work her shift at the bar, and Gillies was still popular. I remember when she'd go to Gillies over in Pasadena. Yes, that Gillies. And we're gonna wait till our temperature gets up here just a little bit. Try one. Not quite where I want it yet. Kind of get them all in the grease here. Do a few of these. I'm probably going to do a bigger batch when I stop filming. This is going to take like another 25 minutes. There. This. I think grandmothers have patience. They have that little bit of grease in there and they're frying chicken and they just turn it and turn it and turn it. And I can do that. But I'd rather just put enough grease in there, like on my cast iron Dutch oven, and just basically deep fry them. Hey, they're floating, they're done. And yes, that's all bacon grease. And that bacon grease is going to go into the Dutch oven. because that's just a good place to put it. When I scramble up the eggs. I'm wondering if that can be like one of those ASMR kind of things, or not eating, but just like listening to food cook. Or watching it, what have you. How to bacon chicken. And that's my bacon. Bacon seems to turn out the best if you can keep your heat down lower. Same with just about anything. Well, I'm frying potatoes. So. A lot of things, people get their heat too high, try to cook it too fast, turning heat down. I turn it up a little bit for the potatoes. Though. Only time I've really got it all the way up is like I'm cooking beans or something. We'll get them really, really hot. I think what was happening with the microphone on this camera, I've got the camera sort of taped up, is like the steam, like the grease and stuff going up was affecting it. So I would usually have that vent fan on, but it's too loud, it's too old. I need to get a new range hood. But the one that I have was made in the 70s, and you can't even get a filter to fit the thing. So I've got like this makeshift filter in it. And I'd like to get a range hood that's a microwave range hood. I just don't have the money right now. I do have a Patreon though. It's listed in my channel. And a PayPal, what have you, if one wanted to donate towards that. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Too many other things, too many hospital bills. Too many bills in general. I usually have a lot of red potatoes because I make a lot of soups and stuff. These are just like regular Idaho potatoes, russets or something. Better for frying. Mashed potatoes, well, red potatoes are good for mashed potatoes too, but they're not as good for soup. And soups will tend to kind of come apart on you. But they're good for frying. So when these are done, I'm going to put them over here, let them drain, pour the grease off, and then we'll get to the eggs. And I'll do those, or at least enough for this. And we'll do the tortillas. Hold on. Let's see what she's yelling about. That actually sounds like it'd be good. But the spam's going to cook a whole lot quicker than the potatoes. Spam doesn't take too long to cook. I'd probably dice the potatoes, not use so much grease. And I don't know, about 5 minutes before we were done, put the spam in there, probably diced up with it, and some jalapeno, and I probably already have onions. Eat a lot of onions. Eduardo Espinoza. I'm computer illiterate, so I do not understand the symbols. Hopefully that means you can hear me. I had to mute it for a second. A few more minutes, I'll be turning these potatoes. I'm also used to doing much larger quantities. Any of you have teenage boys at home? You'll understand that one. They can eat a lot of food. I was on Honda's chat wasn't Honest chat, I was listening to it, making a few comments earlier. That was a long chat. I don't know how he found something to talk about for that long. It's usually like you can talk pretty good for about an hour. And after an hour, you start running out of things. Unless you're on TV or something, you've got a prompter or a whole bunch of stuff planned to talk about. I like keeping these things pretty much to food. Everybody's got to eat. Unfortunately, food can get political too. It's like, what was those ladies think some lady in New York was making bone broth, and they tried to say it was cultural appropriation, and they ended up, I think it cost her business. She was appropriating like Asian culture, and I'm like, I don't know of a culture that doesn't make some form of bone broth. It's one of those things that everyone's going to figure out. Everyone's going to learn how to make stock. They're going to make broth. They're going to have some kind of folded dumpling that gets filled with something and boiled or fried. Whether it's a wonton or a pierogi or an empanada or whatever. That basic shape and filling it, that's going to get, most cultures are going to figure that stuff out. You know, but food is awesome. Especially when you learn how to cook meals that you had as a child that you'd love when this grandmother or somebody cooked it, or even things my grandfather would make that was simple. His food was a lot simpler. It was like you're making cheese toast in the oven, but it was good. Are you making oatmeal on the stove? That sort of thing. But it brings back memories. And we're kind of communal animals to begin with, where I think we're kind of meant to, sit around the table and eat. Like families bond that way. That might be something that's missing. I mean, you can sit around the TV and eat. I don't care. Watch TV is more, I think as a species, we're meant to all be together and, a family unit, eat as one sort of thing. Super bad videos. Awesome. Thank you for coming, and have a good day tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. It's starting to get hard. Not quite yet. Don't use these very often. For those of you who have stuck with me for this long, thank you so much. I do need the watch time. My mom used to make salsa. That's one thing that I probably need to do. Like, my favorite food that my mom would cook would be her tacos, which are kind of similar to what I'm doing, except, she'd throw everything together. So once the potatoes got done, then eggs were getting put in the potatoes, and sausage or whatever else she was cooking, and she always had a garden, and she would make her own salsa, and she would can it, and it would always get hotter. So there was always like this can that had been there like a couple of years, and you're betting like who's going to eat salsa out of it. It was always good. It's just it tended to get hotter the longer it stayed in the can. But she would make her own, and then probably another meal for me to cook. She would do spaghetti with spaghetti squash, and she would make her sauce with like Rotel tomatoes, so it was spicy and had some sausage in it, and that was always good. My grandmother on that side of the family was more fried chicken, potatoes, cornbread, pinto beans. Um, she cooked sauerkraut, but it wasn't sauerkraut like that. You know, she had pork and sauerkraut. It was more American style. It was more, well, she had sausage in there. It wasn't hot dogs, but it wasn't like pork and sauerkraut like somebody from Europe would want. That's all on the other side. I have an aunt that makes awesome pork and sauerkraut. You'll take the, she'll have like pork chops and stuff in there, and she'll have sausage. You'll take a sausage, and she'll have like this homemade um, horseradish. And you dip the sausage in the horseradish, and oh my god, that is good. Now we're gonna start turning these. It's a slow process, but it's good. Then what I also like doing in the grease, kind of works a little better with olive oil, but take the corn tortillas and cut them in like quarters and fry up tortilla chips, which I may do a little bit later. I don't know if I'll record that or not. But when you take them out of the grease, immediately salt them if you do that. DM Foss, hello, how are you doing? I'm making tacos. I'm frying potatoes. For anyone that's joined in and wonders what I'm doing, other than that, I'm kind of rambling on. I'm making a smaller batch here just for the sake of time, and then I'll cook the rest later. Well, when I get through. So that cast iron Dutch oven does come in handy for things like that. Someplace to pour grease. You just woke up. What kind of schedule are you on? Sounds like me. I'm usually waking up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have to get up at 2 because I got to get to the yard by like 3 or 4, and I've got to be somewhere to load at like 6 o'clock in the morning, or I've got to be 200 miles away at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning to load. So I've got to be up at like midnight or 1. I kind of like the over the road stuff more than the local in that sense, where I don't have to be up so quick. I mean, I get up early in the morning anyways. Light hits my eyes, I get up. But you at least get your break. It's like you get a 10-hour break and you're running local. Well, you go off the clock as quick as you can. Then you're there another 30, 40 minutes doing paperwork, unloading the truck. All your stuff out of the truck, And then, there's an hour drive home, so you're already 2 hours into your break. And you get home, you cook supper, you do what have you. You might get 4 hours of sleep, and then you have to get up and, shower, do whatever. head to work and there's not much of a break, whereas you're over the road, your bed's like right behind you. So pull over, go to bed, get your sleep, wake up, wash up, do whatever you gotta do, hit the road. You kind of get more sleep when it's over the road. So hopefully this mic's working out good. Anyone new in the chat, let me know. It's a new microphone that I got, so hopefully that solves most of my problems. I've heard it's a little clippy or what have you. I've got it a little further away from me. This is as far as I can get the microphone from me. That's how far I've got it away from me. And seeing how that turns out. Hopefully it'll be able to pick up everything, so when I'm doing stuff on the counter and on the stove, I can go back and forth and the microphone can pick everything up. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're making tacos and drinking beer. So my grandmother used to think I was crazy. I'd come home, I was working construction, and I drove a truck for the construction companies, and I run equipment too. I grew up on a farm. I'd sit down at the table. I'd have like ice cream and like a Miller Grande, the not this size Miller, but the next size up. I didn't care. I'd come home on the weekends, I'd take her shopping, and I'd help my grandfather with all the yard work and everything else. And it was more just a place to store my stuff and take care of my grandparents. Then I'd go back to work. And I'd be working on some job site in like San Antonio or wherever. And then drive home. I miss my grandparents, but I'm at the age where I'm losing parents, so that's sort of a weird mental thing at that point. Just start adding up in your head, well, my grandparents lived to this age, and well, your parents lived to this age, and it's like you start kind of subtracting that from your own age and looking at how much time you have left and realizing, it's like they were like only 24 when they had me. And I've only got one left. But my father's death wasn't exactly natural causes. That was his own fault. And that's another story for another time. Still converting oxygen into carbon dioxide. Cool. Oh, my mother-in-law's house. They had a scare today. The carbon monoxide things, the sensors went off. And the fire department got called out. And apparently it was just something with the battery and the detectors. So luckily nothing was wrong. But that's still kind of scary. I had a friend that died of carbon monoxide poisoning. I think he went back up to Tennessee, I think he was in Tennessee, and they were heating this house they were building with a salamander on the bottom floor, and they were sleeping in it. Don't do that, because they didn't wake up. And he had very unique eyes. They were brown and blue, but it was like the individual eye, it looked like a clock where the brown was taking up the blue. And he said his clock was running out. When all the blue was gone, he would be gone. Yeah, it's something none of us can escape. I remember having that talk with my son and seeing that realization wash over his face when he realized, I'm like, I'm gonna die, you're gonna die, anything that's alive is going to die. That's just part of being alive. And it's that realization that, oh, I'm not gonna live forever. One of those unique moments of a parent. Well, I guess it's not unique. Most parents are probably gonna have that moment. Is that like a ready heater? Might be the same thing. It's like a big cylindrical thing, runs off of usually like kerosene, something like that. Has a blower, and it just heats things up really quick. I remember when I was in Oklahoma, and I grew up between Texas and Oklahoma, back and forth. I've got family in both, but we had basically a single wide trailer in a hay field in Oklahoma, and we're trying to keep it warm. And so one of those little kerosene heaters has a wick in it. You know, it's meant for maybe heating a small room or something. And we'd have curtains hung up in all the hallways, which there really wasn't a hallway. It's more you're blocking off the main bedroom and the other bedroom and trying to block off, the kitchen area and that whole living room, dining room, kitchen room, and everybody huddle up in there trying to stay warm. Oh, yeah, that can happen. That can happen. Always have things inspected. We've got a new furnace here. I replaced one of the reasons I'm kind of low on money. We at the end of last summer we replaced our central air and central heat because we were heating with a window unit, not heating, cooling with the window unit. We just didn't have a heater. That would kind of work. I had one of the bigger ones it's still in there. I put the biggest one you could run off of 110. I could run it off a generator. So it's still in the window. I need to start it up, make sure it's still working. Just for in case of a hurricane, I can still cool my house. But especially after that cold freeze a couple years ago, we replaced the heater, everything, and nobody would work on it because it was too old. This house was built in the 70s, so everything's like 70s vintage. And no one would work on anything. And these potatoes are just about done. So the potatoes a little bit crispier. They're technically done right now. I just want them a little bit crispier. Like maybe a minute or so more. Depends on how you like them. Some people like them softer. Some want them crunchier. You were built in the 70s. So was I. It was a good decade. Kids didn't whine as much. When they did, the parents didn't put up with it. It was, I'll give you something to cry about, or like you smash your finger. My mom was like, does it hurt? I'll cut it off. And I'm like, no, I want my finger. So you'd be quiet. Oh yeah, I remember when we were homeless and I lived with relatives for a while, and they had no insulation, sheetrock, not holes in the wall, and their house was cold. But bad blood, how families are. That's why they call them kinfolk, if they kin well. And we ended up all living in an 18 wheeler. And one of my sisters learned how to walk in an 18 wheeler. And I was like 12, and my job was to take care of her. But it was so cold, and wasn't enough room for me in the bunk, so where I slept, and this was my stepfather's first conventional. It was an 85 Kenworth, and I would curl up in the floorboard around the passenger seat and try to cover up there. And he always had like a big water thermos, and that thing froze solid beside me. It was that cold. And I've experienced colder later in life. So there's that. I think about the coldest I've been in is about 37, 40 below. Honestly, once it gets below 20 below, it's just too damn cold and I can't really tell the difference. I know I got frostbite. Just I lost basically the tactile feeling in my hands. And I'm lucky to have them because they look like pieces of meat you took out of a freezer. And the warmest thing that I could tolerate was ice water because everything else was like a blowtorch. And cold is a different animal. It's like even driving a truck. It's one thing to be able to drive a truck in the summertime. The wintertime, that will more make or break you. You know, they'll find out if you can do the job or not because it's just a totally different thing. Totally different hazards, and you learn to have plenty of clothes to keep warm, plenty of blankets. I've always got sleeping bag that goes to really, really cold. I've always got water. I can remember going to sleep with the water right beside me so that I could make sure it would be thawed out. They're potatoes. Um, but you wanted water to drink. You never want to be without water. You've got tools to do whatever job you need to do. Because if you break down, you're kind of screwed. Driving on ice is a trip, especially with a tanker. You come to a stop at a red light and it's still got enough slosh, that surge in it, that it's pushing you forward a little bit, then push you a little more, then push you a little more. And having to deal with new drivers that want to hit the brakes, don't do that, don't use the brake. And you try to tell them, let it roll. You know, they start going down a hill, and it's like, just dude, let it roll. Yes, I've seen duck fat in the store. I'm sure Ghost Shadow knows what I'm talking about. Or yeah, um, you going down some of those hills, and you touch your brake, you're screwed. So you just let it roll and get enough momentum, and they're too scared to drive. And it's like, um, if you don't hit that hill doing at least 50 or 60 miles an hour, depending on the hill, you're not going to make it to the top. You're going to break traction. And sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, and that is what it is. And if they're not going to listen, it's like, well, can you at least let me around? That way they don't wipe out in front of you. turn it off for just 1 second. Yeah, I'm pretty low tech here. There we go. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. Got matches by the stove in case it don't work. The AI trucks, look up Google's trucks that they're running, and they'll look like they're big lights on the side of them. They're not, they're learning the roads. America runs off of trucks. What people forget about that statement is they never said anything about drivers. Just as soon as they can replace us, they will. The problem with that is where we're going to go. Truck driving is a job that a lot of people have been steered towards. A lot of the people from all those factories and stuff that closed down. That's where they went. So now you're going to take that job away from them. So what are they going to do? We're approaching having more people than jobs. Right now, we actually do have jobs. We just have a bunch of shitty jobs. Sort of the continuation of 2008, where people lost their job that paid all their bills and ended up working 2 or 3 jobs to pay their bills. I'm cracking eggs over here. Ah, 6 will be enough for what I'm doing. Should be good. But just in case. Hopefully I didn't just mess this up. But we'll find out real quick. Okay. These. And put it in here. Paper towel. I think we're about done. Quickest part of the whole thing, scrambling eggs. Oh yeah, ever since that Canadian thing, they're wanting to get rid of us as soon as possible. But then where are we going to go? A lot of truckers, like myself, aren't exactly suited for other work. There are a lot of people out here from the .com bubble. There are a lot of people out here from '08. There are people out here from, they lost everything with the savings and loans crisis. It's like every time we have one of them things happen, more people end up coming to the industry because there's no place to go. It's surprising how many truck drivers actually have college degrees. Which is a lot more than you would think. But then they can't get a job in those fields. So they end up driving a truck. You don't need that cleaned out perfect. Just enough. I'll do a couple flour and a couple corn. Why do I have a moth in here? It's better than a fly. I think it's attracted to the light. They do that. And I'm going to get a plate. So I might as well get that out. Make a few tortillas. And you can put cheese on it. I'm probably going to put salsa. I might put some cheese. I don't know if I have enough. Let me look real quick. No, I have cheese. No, I'm not digging all that out. So heat up a few of these. Do 2 of these corn. So move them around a little bit at first. Yeah, I had the bacon on low heat. I was wanting the bacon for the grease. Eggs are usually pretty quick. Fine 8, this is all tacos. And these are corn. A little smaller, a little tastier. But when I have a bunch of them, especially if I need to get rid of them, just literally cut them in quarters, fry them up, and make tortilla chips out of them. Gravy on tacos. I guess you could do that. Not quite what I'm making, but it could be done. I'm making everything separate instead of mixing it all together. Do bacon and egg. You're going to mix it all together, kind of break up your bacon. If you're putting it in separate, you can sort of put them in strips. And that's not that big a deal. So let me make these tacos. If you mix it all together, like when you scramble your eggs, then you put your potatoes and your bacon or your sausage or whatever in with it, it looks a lot more like what you would take off a taco truck. how to get my camera set up a little bit better. And you also don't have to make it into a taco. You can just put it on a plate and mix it up and put salsa on it, and you are fine. All right, I will show this to you guys. Those are tacos. These on the end are corn. Those are flour. Let me get a paper towel. And no, it's not homemade salsa. I'll do that at some point. I just got paste. This is Texas. Been charging my phone. It should be charged by now. I'll take a picture of this and I'll start eating. Yes, my phone is turning on. I've been looking for writing gear and it's hard to find in my size. Too big, too tall. Chicken and dumplings. Yes, I can do chicken and dumplings with homemade dumplings. That is in the mix there somewhere. I'd actually like to do those with my wife if I can get her talked into it, because she makes really, really good homemade dumplings. She also makes really good enchiladas. I have like a casserole pan and it'll be filled with them. Okay, let me move this stuff out of the way. I have a tiny, tiny kitchen. The one side wants to come open. Let's see if I can prop it up. Prop it up for a picture. There we go. That'll work. No, I can do chicken and dumplings. And for just another view. Tacos. It took 2 hours to make. The bacon took forever. That's gotta hurt someone's ears. They are bacon, egg, and potato tacos. Yes, using lard with biscuits is okay. Of course, it's Texas, so paired with Miller Lite. I don't know what kind of biscuits you're making, but lard pretty much. If you're putting oil or any of that in there, yeah. Kind of like ranch dressing, homemade ranch dressing. Oh, that's so good. It's half lard. Also, sausage would have been quicker because it's just frying up the sausage in the pan and putting it to the side, and then frying up your potatoes, putting them to the side, scramble up your eggs. As you're scrambling your eggs, dump your sausage in there, keep scrambling it, then dump your potatoes in there, and it's done. It would have been done probably over an hour ago. But I was cooking bacon. And I don't want to burn bacon. And yes, I'm eating. Breakfast biscuits are awesome, yes. There's big fluffy biscuits. I gotta do those homemade at some point. And I don't have a stand mixer or anything like that. Everything I mix is by hand. Everything I do is by hand. So when I'm kneading dough, it's all by hand. I'm folding it in half and folding it in half. There's no mixer to go flop, flop, flop with it. I have limited tools, limited utensils. Of which is cast iron skillet's probably the most important. And these turned out real good. You're sleeping. Well, hopefully you have good dreams. I've been having dreams lately. It's like I go from just no dreams at all. I don't know if I'm too exhausted or what. But then it's like the stress causes weird dreams. I used to have a nightmare when I was little. Like I was being chased by something like a huge snake. It was just so super fast, and I was like moving in slow motion, and nothing I could do would outrun it, but it would never catch me. I think Freud or one of them would probably have something to say about that, but that was like a recurring nightmare. And I'm broadcasting to YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. So if anyone is on any of the others, thank you for watching. Anyone on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. I don't know how to put that link out there. I know on Rumble, like if you go to the phone app thing, you can leave a comment, but you're not in the chat comment. So it's like a video comment, even when it's live. And I think if you go like on your computer and not on a phone, you can pull up the live thing, or if you get a link and you go to that from your phone. An iPhone may be different. I have an Android. So I'm used to Android and I don't like change. My wife, on the other hand, likes iPhone. In all honesty, I had no need for any of it until about 2008, when I was contractually obligated to have a computer for the company that I was with, and I had to look up my own freight and find my own loads and had to have a cell phone. Well, I ended up with all of it. But I lived most of my life without internet or cell phones or any of that stuff. But of course, now they don't have the pay phones like they used to have. I mean, every company used to have like a Watts line, a 1-800 number, and you had a calling card, and you were fine as long as you get to a pay phone. You could make whatever call you needed to make. Nowadays, I don't think people really have that anymore. So, and here is the corn tortilla taco. About to eat this one. They are a wee bit, but they taste good. Well, that and I kind of overfill it, but it's my taco. I'll overfill it if I want to. That might be the next thing I make, though. Like chicken and dumplings or something. Homemade noodles, if I have the time. Well, homemade dumplings. And not the cheaping out on the dumplings. I mean, you can use tortillas to make dumplings. You can use biscuits to make dumplings. All kinds of things you can do to make dumplings. Like chicken noodle soup, homemade noodles. It's not that hard. You want nice big fat noodles. I have one of my aunt's chicken noodle soup recipes, or chicken soup recipes. One of my aunts always had the best chicken soup. Like little pieces of margarine floating in it. It's just amazing. The other one has a very, very traditional recipe. I like it. It's still good. It's awesome. You basically cook your chicken and debone it and put the bones back in, and you make your stock out of it and go from there. But I like her recipe except for the pig's feet or the chicken's feet, because those will end up in it. And they're good. They're not bad. Just, I don't know, if I'm eating pig's feet, I'm in a bar and they're pickled. Probably next to a jar of pickled eggs. I don't know. Would you call this breakfast? It's morning. A little bit around Vitamix. Enjoy. See, here's another one. Sort of came together at the last minute there. Like I said, you can mix everything together. That's actually usually what I do, but I got a bunch more I'm going to cook. And probably roll them up and have them set where I can heat them up later. And take them with me when I go to work Tuesday. They're just quick breakfast. It'll probably last me through Wednesday or Thursday morning. So usually meal prep whatever I cook on the weekends for the week. Krabby Turtle, thank you for watching my video. And good night to you. Have a happy 4th of July. I'm going to go back to work too soon. I've got tomorrow off. I'm doing local loads on Tuesday at haul wastewater. I mean, it's something. Doesn't exactly pay a lot, but yeah. I don't know how much longer the chat's going to go. Y'all are still interested, I'll keep rambling. I need the watch hours. Not that I'm anywhere close to getting monetized. I think I'm about halfway there on the subs. They do it now at like 500, but you gotta have 4,000 watch hours. Which means I need twice as many subs and about 6 times as much watch hours. So if y'all could share my videos out, that would be awesome. And like, so the algorithm will promote them. So if you could do that, share and like the videos, I would greatly appreciate it. This is why the bacon took so long. There's still a lot of bacon. Like a lot of bacon. And of course you'll want to have a fork with your tacos, because either that or an extra tortilla, because you'll end up with an extra taco. From what falls off of your tacos. I don't think I've got any comments from Rumble yet. I get comments on the videos later, but I haven't got any, what do you call it? I haven't got any rants or what have you. Chat comments. Rants would be awesome too, but I like to see how the chat comments show up on here. I don't know if they do. It should show up with a Rumble symbol. But I don't know. Anyways, I don't know if it's the most American meal for the 4th of July, but it's probably one of the most Texan meals for the 4th of July. Tacos and beer. And tacos are always good. You can put more on them. You can put like pico de gallo, or not pronouncing that right. Pico, just say pico. You can put that on there. Put cheese on them. Basically everything you can get off a taco truck, you can put on them. And they're good. See, one more little guy. So now I guess y'all eating breakfast or dinner, whatever this is, with me. The corn is better for like right now. But when you wrap them up for later, like you're going to eat them later, heat them up later, what have you, the flour works better. Anyways, y'all have been awesome. I've got a lot more to cook. And I don't know if I want to cook it now or when I wake up. So I can put the potatoes and stuff in the fridge. And I can put the bacon up and it'll still be good. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. And of course, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. I have a Patreon that is linked on my channel. Probably need to promote that more. But I appreciate everyone for watching. Thank you so much. And I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot to do. Go to bed. So, Faust, Krabby Turtle, Eduardo, Jumpy, Ting Ting, Ghost Shadow, and everyone else, thank you so much. Let's see if I can get my mouse to work. And hit this little red button over here. So thank you, and I will catch you later.